Hello, this is Katie with Homeschool Chat, and this is part 3 of the step-by-step guide to start the homeschool year. So if you want to see part 1 and part 2, check out my site and my YouTube site and watch the videos. Today we're going to talk about writing a syllabus and lesson plans. So let's start with the syllabus. A syllabus is hang on, I'm trying to think of the word here, a very broad description of what you're going to do in the school year. And schools have to provide a syllabus for the subject that they're teaching for that grade. I'm going to read to you, and I just want to warn you that this thing I'm going to read you is not exciting, but I'm going to read you part of a syllabus for K through 4 social studies academic standards for Arkansas Department of Education for geography. So this is an example of a syllabus. Number 1, for geography. Number 1, students will understand the purpose of geographic tools, for example, maps, globes, charts, graphs, to understand, analyze, and explain human interaction with each other and with the environment. This includes the spatial characteristics and patterns of human settlement and connections between global regions. Number 2, students will understand the purpose of geographic tools, maps, globes, charts, graphs, to interpret spatial information. This includes spatial organization of people, cultures, places, and environments within various regions, and geographical skills to interpret the past, present, and plan for the future. Number 3, students will understand the characteristics of different physical and cultural regions and how they change over time through demographic changes, migration, settlement, and conflict. This includes the impact physical geography has on human systems, including politics, culture, economics, and use of resources, and how a region or culture interacts with itself, the environment, and other regions and cultures. Number 4, we're almost done. Students will understand the impact humans have on the environment. This includes the distribution, management, and consumption of resources. And last but not least, number 5, students will understand the impact indigenous peoples have on the environment. This includes the communal view of how indigenous peoples utilized the land and resources and the characteristics of the original indigenous peoples of Arkansas by analyzing artifacts, artwork, and other sources. Don't let this syllabus intimidate you. So it is a broad sense of what's going to happen over the course of the year. And these things have to go to committees and boards and be discussed, and different words used, and there's a lot involved in this. As a homeschool teacher, you just want to get your point across, and you'll have a lesson plan to go with your syllabus so that people can see, if you're audited, that you're actually teaching your child something and it's within or above the grade level that you need. So here is an example that I've done for a syllabus for 4th grade social studies, and this is my exact and involved syllabus. Okay, are you ready? it is for social studies for 4th grade. I have the class name, 4th grade social studies, and the year, and that I'm the teacher. Then I have a class description. Student will study social studies for 2 quarters using Where in the USA is Carmen Sandiego software, Egypt project packet, In the Americas textbook, and 100 Years Old project. Learning outcomes. The student will demonstrate mastery of the social studies section by completing the workbook pages, and then the teacher correcting those pages along with teacher observation. And then I have a note. Due to the nature of the class and the individual level of student mastery involved, it is important to understand that there is a possibility of changes that may occur throughout the school year. So that is my very involved syllabus. As time progressed on, I got really busy, and here is another example of an English syllabus for sophomore year. Student will spend 1 hour each class day completing the lessons in English 101 Book 5 and English 101 Book 6. Now you can also add the publisher and the copyright year and all that sort of thing. This course is 1 credit. That is my example, my 3rd example of a syllabus. So notice that the 3rd one is just right to the point. And so there's 3 examples there of what a syllabus is. Why do you need a syllabus? I think you should look into your state requirements. When the Washington State pilot program was going on for, it was a pilot program to see if homeschooling would be a viable option for Washington students. So this is Washington State. A syllabus was required, and there was a possibility of audit. So somebody could come in and say, hey, what are you teaching your child? So this is just an overall view of what you would teach your child in English in sophomore year, okay? So now, after you do your syllabus, then you do your lesson plan. Now I'll give you several examples of a lesson plan, which is way more fun than the syllabus. But I also want you to know that as far as paperwork is concerned, the lesson plan and the syllabus are there. It's paperwork. So depends on how much you like paperwork, how interesting it is. All right, so here's an example of a lesson plan for sophomore year for history. Now, it's, lesson plan. So Lewis and Clark study part of Washington State history and U.S. history. So it's not the whole Washington State history study for the student, but it's a part of it. Student will read the following books: Lewis and Clark Part 1, From Jefferson's Parlor to the Great Plains by Brad Phillips. Lewis and Clark Part 2, From Sergeant Floyd's Bluff to the Marias River by Brad Phillips. Sacagawea by Brad Phillips. Lewis and Clark, The Journey of the Corps of Discovery by Dumeen and Ken Burns. To the Pacific with Lewis and Clark by Ralph K. Andrist. Lewis and Clark study, page 2. Student will write a report on Lewis and Clark using the sources listed above. Student will complete a final question and answer test. So that is the lesson plan for the year for that portion of history for sophomore that I created. So Another example of a lesson plan that's a lot easier is to take a workbook that you're using and take pages from that and just include it with your syllabus. So this would be considered a lesson plan. And what it is it's the cover page for your workbook, and it is regarding math grade 5. And so the first page says math, addition and subtraction, multiplication and division, fractions, geometry. So then you turn it and it's the table of contents. So it's a lesson plan because you would say, this says equivalent fractions, page 51. So that's a workbook page. Mixed numbers, page 52. That's a workbook page. Comparing fractions, page 53. That's a workbook page. Adding fractions, unlike denominators. That's a workbook page. I'm going to skip ahead. Area of a right triangle, page 81. That's a workbook page. These are all lesson plans. So if you want to, you can include this type of a thing with your syllabus as a lesson plan. Another example is to take a workbook on a subject again. And this one is a little bit different. It is place value, page like 4 to 8. Addition, page 8 to 16. Subtraction, page 16 to 21. Addition and subtraction, 21 to 23. But this is basically what you're learning, and the amount of pages that your student is using. So you can include this with your syllabus page as well. So those are examples of the syllabus and the lesson plan. And that is the next step to what you need to start your homeschool year. So you do a syllabus and a lesson plan for each one of the subjects for each one of your students. So if you have 6 classes, then you would have 6 different I'm not really sure how to say that, syllabus, I believe. And then you would have 6 different lesson plans. And then you would start with child number 2. Okay? So I hope this was very helpful, and that's all I have for today. So have a blessed day. Bye.